Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, who's there? I can see one person have joined. 2, 3. Increasing slowly. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, this evening. Say hi, someone. How are you today? Hello. Hello. Hi, good evening. Welcome to today's show or this evening's show. We're going to review a book today. And as you know, the title of Dr. Sunday's book alone is enough to ponder over. So today we are reviewing, you've seen the title already, The Creative and Inventive Power of...
Innovative.
The inventive...
Creative and innovative power of a genius.
The creative and innovative power of a genius. I need to change the title that I put on there. So it's the creative and innovative power of a genius. So please join us because I am interested to know if geniuses are born or made. Because this is going towards the made theory. So I'm really looking forward to it. So again, I would like to welcome you. I cannot see your comments at all, so I can't say hello or welcome with names. I'm going to go on my laptop to see if I can read your comments and say hello, because I like saying hello. I think it's nice to say hello. So just bear with me if you think I'm looking down rudely. No, it's not at all. Okay, good evening. So let me go back. And we will start shortly. So hello. Okay, I can see Favor just shared. So thank you, Favor. And I haven't said anything about sharing. So Favor, you're an upstarter. Thank you so much for sharing. Everyone, let's follow suit with Favor and start sharing. The quicker we share, the more people will join us. And you know what happens? The more, the merrier. So please do that now. Please share, share, share. Okay. I'm just going to go on to Facebook. Oh, Monica, thank you for sharing. I can also see that you've shared. I'm only seeing people that have shared. I can't see everything. Okay. All right. Oh, I have got another screen now. So let me say hello to Oriyomi. Good evening. Thank you very much, Oriyomi. Kola, good evening. Oweye, good evening. Ernest, good evening. Lola, good evening. Mrs. Sharonka, that is. Who else have we got here? Paul, good evening. Lemmy, good evening. Nkiru, good evening. Patrick, hello, good evening. Galina, how are you? Professor Daniel, good evening. Jonah, good evening. Jane, good evening. Modupe, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Omola Bake, good evening. Amarachi, good evening. Vivian, good evening. Good evening, Lucinda. Good evening. Thank you, Jefferson. Good evening. Yes, and I've also said hello to Favor. Good evening, Favor. So guys, thank you. So without further ado, is the creative and inventive. Innovative. Apologies, I'm going to change the title. Is the creative and innovative power of a genius. So that's our book review today, and I'm going to switch the camera to Dr. Sunday to say hello to you, and we get started. Okay, thank you. Bye.
I hope I hope you can see this clear enough. Can you see it? So it is the creative and innovative power of a genius. The creative and innovative power of a genius. So let them tell me if the voice is good enough.
Okay.
Is the voice good enough for you? Can you all hear me?
Thumbs up if you can.
If you can hear me, let me know. Is the voice good enough? If the voice is not good enough, let me know. So, but the title is clear, right? Let me show you the title in another way. The creative and innovative power of a genius. The creative and innovative power of a genius. Okay, so that is another book that is already on Amazon. I think somebody could go to Amazon, go and look for this title on Amazon. If you go there, you'll be able to see it. And if you see it, please put the link. Let's put the link for those people who might be willing to buy it. This is what I'm presenting to you, you know, one of all those books in my 50 list. The 50 books that I've released. So I'm presenting them one by one to you so that at least you will know what to expect in them. Okay, the question that I would like to ask you, which is the first question is, what do you see in the title? I hope you are seeing it very well. I hope you can see it clearly enough. Can they see it clearly enough?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Thumbs up if you can.
So what do you people see in this title? The creative and innovative power of a genius. Of course, you see the word genius. You see the creative power, that geniuses have creative power. But besides that, they also have innovative power. So what is the difference between creative power and innovative power? Let me tell you the bottom line. The bottom line is, you can be a genius either way. You can be a genius either by creating something, a new idea, fresh idea from nowhere that you got, and you created something that nobody ever thought about. That is what geniuses do. But that is creation. However, it is not just people who create, getting new ideas from nowhere and bringing up new perspective that nobody has seen before, that are geniuses. Other geniuses are people who see already created product like this and say, okay, it will be good to make this smaller and make it to be the size of something like this. And it will still work the same. And it will even still work more effectively. So when you make something that already exists and you bring something new to the table, you innovate, you add to it, that is innovation. Or let's say this shirt, for example. This is not a regular shirt. If you look at this shirt properly, you see that it's not regular. The regular shirts are normally white shirts. When I was growing up as a child, I was mostly familiar with white shirts. And then the buttons were not always placed like this, with this emphasis on the buttons. So this is somebody's innovation. And then they have a lot of other things like this here, like this. These things are all innovations. So these innovations that they brought into this shirt makes it absolutely unique. So what I'm trying to do in this book is to let you know that you all could be geniuses. You could create a genius out of yourself. You could make yourself a genius, either of the two ways, either by getting new ideas, creative ideas, and create something new from nothing, or you could actually become a genius as well and make yourself a genius by improving on things that already exist. So this book will tell you many, many things that will make you to believe that you can be a genius, and not just believe that you can be a genius, but will make you to actually practically begin to invent or innovate. At the cover of the book, there is a quotation. This quotation is from author Schopenhauer. Author Schopenhauer says, talent hits a target no one else can hit. Talent, that is talent. So everybody sees the target and everybody is trying to hit it. So there is nothing new. That's just a talent. But you are able to maintain your balance and throw the arrow to hit. You are able to maintain your balance and focus. So you are not doing anything new. You are not creating anything. You are just hitting something or noticing something that already exists. That's just talent. You are just talented. Because not everybody sees what already exists. And not everybody could even pinpoint differences in what already exists. But you need a talent to be able to hit. You need to be crafty. You need to be good. You need to develop some skills. So the more talented you are, the more you are able to master your skill to do one thing or the other. That's what we call talent. So you are good, you master some skills to be able to perfect something or the other that you know how to do. But according to author Schopenhauer, that is what the talent does. But who is a genius? He's a genius, however, you remember, talent hits a target no one else can hit. So he's there, everyone is trying to hit it, they are just not hitting it. But genius hits a target no one else can see. You thought it's not existed. And a genius comes and tells you something that you never even knew existed. Just like sometimes when I preach from the Bible, almost every time when I open my Bible, somebody, if not everybody that listens, at least 50% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, everybody says, "Oh, we never saw that before. Oh, I've read that scripture so many times." Or, "Oh, I thought I knew that scripture. I've even preached on it. I've read it. I've heard that message before. But I never quite seen it that way before." So that's what happens to geniuses. Genius has the ability to hit a target no one else can see. So that is what genius does. So what do I mean? So when I say the creative and innovative power of a genius in this book, the creative and innovative power of a genius, that means as a genius, I am going to teach you to see something that other people don't see, either in something that is already existing. So we call that innovation. Or you see something in your mind, in your spirit realm, in the spirit realm, in your inner mind, in your inner self, within you, in the world of ideas, or in the world of spirit. You remember when I was talking about all the goosebumps you feel? Those are supposed to lead to some ideas that will eventually lead to some concrete products. So that is creation now, because you have taken it from the spirit realm, from the world of invisibility, into concrete product. That is being a creator, like God is a creator. And when we are believers, as a believer, every one of us can become a creator. Because God is invisible. And we are spirit. And as spirit, if we develop our spirit mind, we are easily able to see in the spirit, to see things by faith. Just like it talks about Moses and the Abraham, that they saw a city afar off that is not built by human hands. They see in the spirit. All of us are supposed to have that ability to see in the spirit. So when you are able to see, and that's what anointing is for. Anointing comes to you to be able to quicken your spirit. And that is, if you have not got, if you don't know how to do this, then you must go and listen to my prayer series. And then another series that is called How to Convert Invisible Energy into Tangible Products. That's a whole series on my YouTube page or my blog. How to convert invisible energy into concrete products. So if you are watching right now and you are not familiar with those messages, you've been missing a lot. And then you could also listen to the series that is called Time and Work, I think. Time and Work series. So this series, those old series are continuous, they are intermingled. They teach you how to be a creator, how to bring things from the spirit realm, how to see things in the invisible realm and bring them and convert them to tangible products. So this is what this book will be teaching you as well. So both to see what is not visible to other people that you could improve and add to and create a product, or to actually bring a product from absolutely invisible realm and create it. That is our nature, because we carry the image and the likeness of God Almighty. So before I go into the book itself, from what I have spoken about so far, I want to hear your mind. I want to hear your mind from what I've spoken about so far. So I want you to comment on what you are getting and what you are thinking. And I'm going to tell Mayowa to read out what are the thoughts that are coming to your mind? What are you getting already from what we have said so far before I continue?
Thank you. Okay, guys, just a few comments. The more talent you have, the more you can master your skill. That's from Paul. And then Chinwei is saying good evening. Okay, guys, I'm looking into each of your on another device. We have Martina saying, Shalom. I read your book, Money Would Make You Rich. I am blessed reading this book. How can I get mentored from? Okay. Martina, if you want to get mentored by Dr. Sunday, you need to go onto his blog, sundaydelajablog.com, and you will see the mentorship program on there. And then there's a form you can complete the form, and someone will get back to you. Okay. Can't see comments, guys. Send your comments. Send new comments about the question Dr. Tunde asked just now, please. Okay, can't see comments. Okay, I'll just say thank you, or I would say hello. So who have I not said hello to? They've not written much comments, sir.
Okay, no problem. We'll continue.
Okay. The camera is to you.
Okay. Do we have to correct the lights to remove it from the... Is it not reflecting somewhere there?
Yes, reflecting in the back.
Yeah, can we move it backward? Is it the right one you're moving? I think it's not.
Yes,
Is it? Yeah, it is the right one. Yeah, it's gone now, right?
yeah.
Good. You didn't notice that, right?
I did, but
You just fixed it. Details. Details. Okay, so let's continue reviewing this book. I want you to have a look again. The creative and inventive power of a genius. The creative and inventive power of a genius. And so, how do we do it? Let me give you some hints from the book. I thank God that somebody has put the link for you. So you have the link now. So one of the ideas that you come across in this book is the concept that geniuses are not made, they are born. And if you have been listening to me for some time, you probably know why and how I came across this idea. You know my story. When I was growing up in my village, and I used to look at the good students that were doing well, that were giving their exams, and that were always topping the class, and they were the same, one and the same group of students, and maybe new ones would join them, one or two, and maybe new ones would, other ones would drop out, one or two, but normally they're just the stable, same 3, 4, second, third. And they put them in positions in our country, in Nigeria. So in the class of 40, you have 1, 2, 3. That is going to be the top 3 students. And in primary school we had a certain number. The certain people the same. And in secondary school we had the same number of people always topping the class. And I used to think, since they are the only ones topping the class and we are so many, it means we are not just lucky, we are not smart enough. And I was always second or third from the bottom, and I was always the least and the worst student, at least one of the worst. So I used to be happy that I was not the very last one, that I was maybe second to the last or third to the last. So I used to be happy that at least there is somebody always following me. Amazing. So with that kind of background and story, biography, you will probably not find it a wonder to see why I believe that I was just not smart enough, and that it was not I was not fortunate enough to be the one that is smart, and that's why it was easy for me to believe that there are some people that God had graced to be smart, and that there are some people that were born geniuses. And that I just thought these ones are just born geniuses, or they are born to be smart. And in my culture didn't help matters as well. In the part of Nigeria that I come from, everybody in the school, in the homes, in the street, when they know you and they know that you study well, they always say, "Oh, that child is a brilliant child. That child is a brilliant child. That child is brilliant. That child is brilliant. I have 3 kids. The first one is very brilliant, but the other ones." I have 5 children. Oh, this middle one, it's very brilliant. They always pinpoint brilliant people. That this one is brilliant. So you are hearing that from childhood. I was hearing that all my life, and nobody ever told me that I was brilliant. So I knew the ones who were brilliant. So I knew that. So there are some that are supposed to be brilliant, and there are others that are all not brilliant. It means it's God that selects. It comes from there. And even parents talk like this. They say, "Oh, my child is this one is brilliant." As if they are born brilliant. That's the impression you have. This child is born brilliant, or this child is brilliant, and these other ones are not brilliant. As if it is God who says. In fact, some people even pray that I pray that one of my children will be brilliant, at least one. So that is how ignorance has messed people's life up. But it's not just in the area of classrooms and schoolwork that I've come to believe that some people are born geniuses. But even in life, in my own culture, there is this culture of saying that destiny decides everything. Ori, or in a Yoruba language, it means your head. They believe that head is the same name as destiny. So it's your head that decides who you become in life. It is the head that you bring, or the destiny that you bring from the celestial world, that decides who you become. and it is your destiny. You know, so some people have the destiny to be rich, and some people have the destiny to just be mediocre and to be poor and wretched. So that's the kind of culture that we were, you know, I was raised in. So it was easy to look at the village and see one rich family and say that, oh, God has blessed them. So God has blessed them to be rich, but all others were just supposed to be mekuno. They call it in our language mekuno. Like, you know, the ones who are just hoping on God and just hoping that somehow, you know, somehow getting by. Those who somehow get by. So it's very destructive, because then you stop struggling. Then, so in my own mind, I had stopped struggling. I even thought that to struggle is to go against the will of God. I even I didn't even bother to read. You know, I didn't even bother to struggle, right? I just thought, you know, it's just, that's just how life is. Until 1 year before finishing college, high school. And then my sister came to see me and told me and showed me a scripture in the Bible. Deuteronomy 28:13. I keep on saying I will never forget this scripture till I die. And she first of all read it from verse 1 to 3. He said, you know, if you shall diligently obey the word of the Lord thy God today, that is, you know, being told, you know, told you from the word of the Lord. Yeah, then she went to verse 14, that's verse 13. That says, if you diligently obey and diligently follow, then you'll be the head, not the tail. You'll be the first and not last. And my sister was saying, see, you know, if you believe God and you'll be diligent to obey him and follow his instructions, then you can do well in your exams. Because she had come to tell me that next year you have your graduating exams. We call it WAEC, I think, WAEC in Nigeria. That's like school living certificate. You have your exam coming up. And if you fail that exam, you will ever remain in this village. And you will forever be lost in this village as a farmer. And it was my brother in Moscow that I told him to go and told her to come tell me that. And she came and she told me that, so you have to study hard and that God could help you. That God, stand on the promise, stand on this promise. God can make you the head. I said, how can I do this? Since all my life I've known that I'm not smart, I'm not exceptional, I'm not born a genius, I'm not in the category or in the numbers of those people who are born a genius. You see, even though some of you might not be thinking quite like that, like I was thinking in the village, but with your lifestyle, if you have not yet created anything yet, and you have not yet invented anything, it means you are actually believing those same things indirectly. Because if you don't believe those things, where are your creations? Where are your inventions? What have you attempted at least to invent? Where are they? So if you don't believe that you are not a genius and geniuses are born and you are not born a genius, so why don't, if you know that you can be a genius, why don't you be one? If you know that geniuses are not born specially and that you too could become one, what is stopping you then from becoming a genius? What are the genius things that you've done? What are the inventions that you have come up with? Well, in my own case, I was not attempting to do anything innovative or creative because I knew that geniuses were born and I was not born a genius, so I gave up. I was not struggling. I was just trying to survive, barely making it. I wanted to make it from the last position to the middle section somewhere in the class. So, so that was my goal. In fact, my highest goal was to be in the top 10, you know, instead of the top 3 that we are always fighting for. I wanted to be in the top 10. The top 10 for me would have been the same as finishing first. But my sister came and said I could be the head and not the tail. So I was arguing with her. I told her that scripture is for the Jews. So she took me back to the verse 1 there in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and said, he said, if you shall diligently obey the Lord thy God today, he said, did he say, if you, the Jews, shall diligently? I said, no. He said, is there any name there? I said, no Jews. I said, okay, it's for Europeans. He said, okay, let's go ahead and see then. You see, does he say, if you Europeans will diligently obey? I said, no, he didn't say, So my eyes started opening little by little. I said, okay, you mean What about me in the village? I mean, maybe the ones in the city, you're in Lagos and in the city, big city. He said, but where is it written there? I said, no. He said, if you shall diligently, you, it means who? You or who? I said, anybody now. So it's anybody. Since it's anybody, I said, anybody? My eyes just open. You mean God will? He will actually make me the head? If I would diligently make me to think, that's work hard. So if I could just work hard, diligent. You mean diligent alone? Just working hard, doing my best, and then God will do the rest? She said, yeah, but that was written. I said, you mean it? He said, yeah. That was when I decided to give it an attempt, a try. It was 1 year left from before I finished. I was in Form 4. So we had five forms. So 1 year left before I finished, I graduated. And I started reading like crazy. I started pushing myself. I couldn't believe what happened when I graduated. I beat everyone else in that school. Only one guy got one credit more than me. Otherwise, I just came from nowhere. I became the best student. In fact, even the guy who got more credit than me by one, because I had more than necessary credit, but just eat 9 subjects. So instead of 6 or 7 that I did. But he didn't even get admission because he was getting CCC. So he didn't get admission to the university. He had to go and take that exam again. Whereas I got a scholarship. And I am where I am now. But that opened my eyes to know that, that was my greatest revelation. The first revelation of my life is geniuses are not born. Geniuses are not born. They are made through hard work. So this story is in this book, but not just the story, a lot of other principles also that are responsible for the creation of a genius. You could make yourself a genius, my dear. And the sign of your being genius is you will innovate if you are a genius. If you are a real genius, you will create. If you are not creating anything, you are not innovating anything, you have not woken up the genius in you. But that genius is sitting down there. It's sitting in you. And so, Maiwa, try to see if anybody is commenting this time. Nobody is commenting? Okay. I want to hear your comments. What do you think about this? Do you think it's just a fairy tale? Or you think it is possible for you to become a genius? So that is the first principle of this book that you will see on Amazon, that is called The Creative and Innovative Power of a Genius. I like the way genius is written. It's written in gold, in diamond. All kind of pieces of diamonds put together to make this really illustrative. The creative and innovative power of a genius. Wake up that genius in you. I've just given you the first key in this book, that is, geniuses are not born, they are made through hard work. Hard work is what makes them. So through hard work, you could make yourself a genius. If anybody had told me, back then I couldn't, thank God my sister came with the Bible. There was no way I was going to believe it. Even a lot of grown-up people still now will not believe that they can do the same thing like Albert Einstein can do, Isaac Newton. If we work hard enough, we could actually, all those who are not better than us, we could achieve as much as they achieved if we would just work hard about it. Okay, next point that I want to point out from this book. You could actually discover your genius by doing what you love to do. So there are keys in this book that will show you how to become a genius just doing what you love to do. And there are examples in this book of great men who became genius from being told that they are nothing and nothing will ever come out of their lives. but hard work led them into discovering their genius. In this book, I'm challenging people, and I'm challenging you as well, not to waste your genius. You remember the words of my friend, Dr. Miles Monroe, that says that the richest place in the world is the graveyard, is the cemetery. Don't let your own genius end up in the cemetery. Don't let your own genius end up in a graveyard. You can take advantage of work and develop and discover the genius in you and release your genius and ingenuity to the world. Another thing that we have written here is that hardship could act as a catalyst to discovering your genius, to discovering your ingenuity. Hardship, you could actually convert hardship to your partner in discovering your geniusness, in your ingenuity. Hardship, don't look at your hardship as an excuse. You know, many people look at hardship as an excuse why they could not discover their ingenuity and who they are, their uniqueness, and where they could not become the great person that they could become. But in the real sense, you could actually, and this book is talking about that, talking about how you could take advantage of hardship and discover and wake up your genius, wake up the genius in you through the hardship that you are going through. Now, you remember what I told you in the beginning about the belief system that I had, that because, that in our culture, that people who are told that it is your destiny, your fate, that actually informs who you become in life, and that the rich people is because destiny, God has decided, or somebody has decided that they will be rich. If you are academically progress, you are good, people say, oh, because God has decided, or fate or destiny has decided that you will be smart. So I call that in this book wrong orientation and wrong value systems. So maybe you are growing up in such an environment where there are wrong value systems. Maybe your family, you could be growing up in a family, like I told you about what happened in my family when I was growing up, but not just my family. I saw it all over in almost all families of my side of the country where I grew up, the western part of Nigeria. They were always pointing out some kids and single them out and say, this is brilliant. This is one of the worst things you could do to a child, to other children, because you are killing other children. Because when you say, this child is brilliant, in the whole class you say, this one is the only one who is brilliant. Other ones, they will go and sell ogi and, coconut and things. But this one is a brilliant child. He has destiny waiting for him. But in the real sense, everybody is brilliant in his own way. And in the real sense, everybody is a genius. There is a ingenuity, hiding or hidden in the life of each one of those children in that class. Every one of them could become a genius. Just like Professor came here to tell us this last week, Professor Chris Imafidon. He told us that it is just what they have made you to believe. And me, I was the one they were always beating in the head like this. They would make a knuckle and beat me and say, you are so dull. Why are you so dull? And beat me. All teachers from primary school, all my life, were beating me like this. That I was too dull. Nothing would come out of me. And look, all the guys who were saying were genius. I was even asking a friend of mine the other day, that a classmate of mine, where is this one? Where is this one? Where is this? All of them are lost. None of them became anything. In fact, the only person who has become anything from that old school, not just for 1 year, for all the years, is me. I mean, an international phenomenon. That's what I'm saying. Even my own country, Nigeria, how many children graduate from there every year? Millions. And out of the millions, how many of them have become a Sunday lecturer? Not too many. But I was the one they were saying, even in village, I would not even compare myself to city children or private school students. But even in my village, I say I was even for the village, I was not good enough. Because that is the wrong environment and the wrong value system, wrong belief system that are dominating. So what I'm trying to say is that set yourself free, and this book will set you free from that wrong environment, wrong value system that you have immersed yourself in. If you have not yet created anything yet, and you have not yet innovated anything, it is because you don't believe it, or you have never even thought about it. You've never even thought about it that you could become a genius, or that you have innovative power in you, or that you have creative power in you. Maybe you've never even thought about it. Why? Because you are living around mediocre people. Because you are surrounded by regular people who just want to survive. Maybe you are all surrounded, the people surrounding you are people who are only thinking about how to survive, what job to get. Just have a job. Just have a good paying job. Become a doctor. Become an engineer. Or become a nurse. Go and qualify as a nurse so that you get salary. I hear all this slave talk, especially among African women these days, who are abroad, who are overseas. Even the ones who are in Nigeria, they want to become nurses so that they will go and get a good job and good salary. Their mind has been brainwashed. What is a nurse? It's an insult. Just because they pay you well, and you are going to be all your life sitting down with some people who is sick and be, giving some tablets to some people. Is that the best you could do with your life? Just because they pay well. I know, of course, there are people who are called to be nurses. Thank God for them and glory to God for them. But if you went there just for the money, just because they pay well, I even know people who are having good profession or some good skills and abilities that had to go and requalify to become nurses. Why? Either because they will give them paper, or because they will get a good job, or they will pay them well. And some of them are killing themselves just being nurses, doing all kind of horrible job with, just working themselves to old age. Look in yourself to discover yourself. This is what this book will teach you. Look in yourself to discover the creative and innovative genius in you. I remember when I go to London, I talk to black people. I'm talking about people who are on scholarship from Nigeria. Like I got scholarship. When I came, the year I came, there were 300 people that the federal government and the Russian government gave scholarship to. You have to be the top, the best in the country before you can get a scholarship. I think it's not only in Nigeria, maybe in Africa, in the developing country, before you can win a scholarship, you've got to be the very best. Or unless you have people who have long legs to help you and fix it. These people were studying here with me in Russia. They became doctors, they became engineers, all kind of profession they were getting here when they were students. And now they get to England, because they needed to quickly get a job to make money. Some of them are working and they are just looking at it from the perspective of what pays well. They just go out and waste their whole life. So the creative and innovative power of a genius is supposed to wake us all up from that stupor. You might think you don't believe it, that geniuses are born and it is fake, but you might not even think about it because you are in such an environment where you are not even thinking about leaving a memory or a memory about yourself, where you are not even thinking of creating anything. How many black people think about creating anything or inventing anything? Because the way they tell us is, oh, but I'm not a scientist, why should I even think about it? No, you don't need to be a scientist to create or innovate. I'm not a scientist, but if you know the things that I've started, I've created, and I'm creating, you'll be surprised. Any one of us could create something. We could innovate something. We could create something. I'm not just creating. I'm teaching people how to create. And all of us can. All of us can. So don't believe those lies when they begin to tell you that you can only create because you are a genius, or you are a scientist, or you are a PhD holder, or you are a professor. I mean, go and listen to what Professor Chris Imafidon spoke about. He is a professor and in Oxford, teaching in Oxford, and his children are regarded as geniuses. And he said it's a lie. It's a lie. Nobody's a genius. All of us are genius. That's what he says. And when he's the family that they call the smartest family in the UK, maybe in the world. And he says it's a lie. It's a lie. Nobody is smarter than anybody. Nobody is smarter than anybody else. It's just about what you've allowed to get into you, to get into your mind, what you have believed. So this book is supposed to raise you up from the world of the ordinary, from the world of the mediocre, from the world of just people that have been at the backside of life. Most of us have just been put at the backyard of life, just to survive by going to make a living. Go get a job. Just thank God that you got a job. Just thank God that you got a job. That's good enough for you, and you're getting some money to take care of your family. So that is another plantation. The whole world wants us to be on that plantation. But what even broke my heart even the most was that, for 2 consecutive years, I had children coming here from England. Some of the adults who have been here to my HMT training said they want their children to go through HMT training. So they sent their children to me. I couldn't believe it. I mean, out of like 50 students, I asked, who do you want to become? All the boys, like 40 or 50% of them say what they want to do sports, and especially football. Why football? Oh, that's okay. Then the second 50% that doesn't want to do football, they want to become, what do they want to become? Singing. Or that people just go through life and just hope to get a good job. These are people born in England, black children. And then I told their parents, I challenged their parents, and what is this? This is horrible. How could you be there in England? Because when we were growing up in Nigeria, no kid dreamt of becoming a footballer or a singer, Even if you want to become a footballer or a singer, you still dream of becoming a lawyer, engineer, doctor or something, accountant. But football or something, you can become that if you want, but that's just like secondary. But it's no problem becoming footballers. Some of the richest people in this world now are footballers. It's not a big deal becoming singers. Some of the most prominent people in the world are singers. But when it is 50-50 of a whole race, what is wrong? They will never ever become it. Why? Because all those kids, I said that you will never, before you could become a successful footballer, it is only one in like a million that really, who started playing football, who really makes it big. Only one. You really got to be good. So and you're thinking you are going to become a singer, the same thing. Only one in a million becomes really good. But I never heard any one of them say they're going to become an inventor, or a genius, or a creator, or just to do something, say something. And I spoke to their parents, and their parents told me, Pastor, those kids, there are many like that in England, and I thank God that these ones at least want to become something, because a lot of the black kids there, that they are in prison when they become teenagers, and they go to crime and they go to jail. So I said, what's the problem? They said, because their parents are working. They are working. What does that mean, working? They are surviving. They are trying to survive. They are hustling. So that environment doesn't encourage a kid to dream big and to release the potential and the greatness and the God in him or her. And they also told me that, of course, the educational system, they believe that blacks, in fact, even the professor said it, that all those kids, black kids, that they don't even allow them to go to the secondary school, to the top secondary school. They don't even allow them to go and give exam there, to even attempt. Because they said people from, that really shocked me, that in a Western country, in a civilized society, they will say, if you are in the list in that school, in these categories of schools, or you come from this area of the country, or this area of the south, you will never, they will not even allow you to go test yourself against the best in the country. You don't even attempt it. Even not university level, even secondary school, they will not even allow you to go and give entrance exam because they already assume that you are from the underprivileged part of the country or, race, and then you cannot make it because you are from public school. And those people who are going there are from the top-notch grammar schools of the, even the country conditions you to become a biomass. So this book is supposed to help not just you, but even your children from breaking through, from breaking that jinx of biomasses. The whole world, Uncle Sam's system is all about making us biomasses that will never dream big, that will never dream creativity, that will never aspire. We'll just be walking, like spoke in the rail, in the bicycle, like a spoke in the bicycle. Biomasses that we should just finish school and go to work in the factory or in the companies as managers or some clerks. So I think everybody that has a child should get this book for his child. Not just a child, but because this one is written for adults, but you must get it for yourself and for your teenagers. By the way, let me use this opportunity to talk about, we're organizing this year again, HMT for teenagers. So we're organizing HMT for teenagers, please. So if you have not seen the advert, if you go to my page, you'll see the advert. I think it's in the first week of August or something. So HMT for teenagers from the age of 10 to 20. So if you have kids from the age of 10 to 20 and they can travel, send them down here where people will take care of them. Or maybe you have, maybe you would like to travel with your kid to come. But send them here, send them in the plane. We've done it before, we've done it many times. And they will come back achievers, dreamers. You will find it difficult to recognize your kid when they come back. Okay, any comment there? Or still no comments?
Few comments. Hello everyone. We've got a few.
You have the dates for the?
I think it's the 3rd of August. But I have to check the teenage.
But they have to write, give them information to write to the guest or to go to.
Okay, if you're interested or you have children that can attend the teenage HMT, I believe it's from the 3rd, but the poster is on Dr. Sunday's page, so please check it out. But in any case, you can write to guest@godembassy.org/visit. So you would see information.
No, that is not /visit is. It's on that ledger blog /visit.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
Set that.
Okay, guys.
When you write to
yes,
embassy,
yes,
there's no slash.
yes.
Right.
So the email to write to is guest@godembassy.org.
No slash.
But no slash. Guest@godembassy.org. But you can also go onto the blog where you would find the details in sundayadelajablog.com then /visit. There'll be a form on there which you can complete. But the poster or the ad for this program for HMT for teenagers is on Dr. Sunday Adelaja's page, so please check it out. Secondly, there's another announcement regarding the people that are complaining that their devices is freezing every time. It's frozen every time Dr. Sunday is speaking or when they're trying to watch a video. We've got news or information that that Facebook updated their software, and every time Facebook updates their software,
like every 6 months, kind of.
Yeah, like every 6 months, there is a problem with devices. You also need to upload Facebook again on your device. The problem is not so much on the computer itself or desktop or laptop, it's more on the device. So you need to maybe delete or re-update your own Facebook app on your devices. So please do that.
Someone write that.
Yeah, I've already put the note. The note is on the Dr. Sunday Adelaja's name. It's on there, so you can also see it. So a few people that have made some comments. We have Dex that says, "This is true platform. God is working."
This is what?
True platform. Truth platform.
Truth.
Yeah, truth platform. God is working. We also have Inway saying that how can one harness an idea to make it creative?
That's what the book is about.
Okay, so for Inway or anybody else, this is what the book is about. The book title that we are reviewing today, which is, before I say it wrong, which is The Creative and Innovative Power of a Genius. So please check out the book. It would help you to answer that question. So Adeola has already put the date for the teenage HMT. It's from the 8th to the 11th of August. So it's the 8th to the 11th of August. The children should be, or teenagers, excuse me, should be on holiday at the time. So you can plan for your teenagers to attend from age 10 to 20. EBN says, same way our Nigeria conditions us to believe all that matter is money, without concern for integrity. That's why political thuggery is on the increase. That's EBN that's saying that. Vivian, thank you. Vivian is also giving the date for the teenage HMT. Amarachi says, because everyone thinks and believe, only a few are geniuses. It's the same thing all over the world. Africa is even worse. After hearing the professor, I felt robbed of something. The knowledge that I could be anything I wanted. I could be a genius and inventor. It makes me so upset. That's Amarachi. That's very honest. Thank you, Amarachi, for that. We have Ernest saying, when I was young, I used to think that God created geniuses and looked down on myself so much that I thought nothing extraordinary could come out of my life until I started working hard and putting much hours on one thing I knew to do, which was playing the piano. One day I had an opportunity to just lay my hands on a piano in an event, just to have some fun in an event. I was not even the guest artist. While doing that, two men walked up to me and took my contact. I was shocked at the invitation I received to perform just that fun tune in one of the biggest concerts in Lagos in those days. That single performance overwhelmed all the great and outstanding artists that had performed before me. Almost all of them came to me almost like they worshiping me. That was when I discovered that no, geniuses are created through hard work. Thank you for that, Pastor Ennis. Then we have, that's true, they want us to be biomass, Uncle Sam Systems. That's Omonike saying that. Darlene says, yes, I can do all things. P says, no one teaches this to an average African child. All he is told is to choose a profession that can help him make more money. EBN says, I understand there is dignity in labor, but one must do what makes them happy. That way you can reach your full potential. Then we have EBN saying again, teachers in Nigeria look down on struggling children without knowing everyone has got God-given potentials. EBN says again, very wrong belief system. Oriyomi says, geniuses are not born, they are made. DSA. Up the genius in you. Wake up the genius in you by hard work. That's Oriyomi saying that. Discover your genius by doing what you love. That's Oriyomi again. Oriyomi again saying diligence is the key. How to work a genius in me. That's Insengima saying that. I hope I pronounced your name okay. Another wonderful time to hear the word of God in an amazing dimension. That's Agbola saying that.
Please, can you remind them about the evening in 1 hour?
Okay. We've got another program in 1 hour which is titled The Prostitution of Tithe and Offering in the Church. This has been an amazing week and a bit now since we started this program. You will learn so much. It will change your whole mindset about church, about religion, about the doctrines of the churches. So please, please, please join us. It's at 9 p.m. Ukraine time. It will be in an hour from now.
The topic is it more important to give to the church or pastor than to your parents?
And the topic today is...
Who is more important to support? Your church?
Is it more important to give to the pastor or the ministry than your parents? Who is more important to support? Your parents or the church or the ministry? That's the title today. This is an interesting one. So please join us later today. Well, in an hour, not later. In an hour. Okay? Happy to watch you live. That's Uba saying that. To be a genius means you need to create something out of nothing for everyone in a great dimension. Reaching to greater heights, and a talented person can be innovative. Discovering or creating things from existing ideas. That's my understanding for now, sir. That's Paul that is saying that. Inway says, like having an idea but no direction to make this idea to come through. I think you definitely need the book, so please get the book. Let me see if there's any more new comments here. Wow, MJ saying. Okay. So that's it in terms of comments. I can't see many comments at all.
Okay, no problem. So, thank you everybody. You saw the book. Let me show you again. The creative and innovative power of a genius. By the way, let me do this. Can I ask Mrs. Shoruke to come and sit in your place?
Sure.
And we'll ask her a question. Did you notice before you, let us see before you started, did you notice the craze, or maybe you two noticed it, I don't think it's in England, but I know it's in America, the craze for people becoming nurses. And they are being killed by their husbands just because they want to survive. And even some husbands compel their wives to become nurses. And I know even wives that are traveling from East Coast to the West Coast almost every weekend or every week. They are killing themselves just because they make more money that way. Is it true that people are not looking at who they are made to be, what God put in them, all they could become is just about the drive to make some more money. That is what people are living for. Then they break down and die. Or their husband get jealous and kill them. What do you say about that? Is that a real thing that's happening?
Hello, everyone. Good to see all of you on the platform. Thank you very much, Pastor Sunday, for putting me on the spot.
You should, because you live in America. You should
yes, and also I trained to be a nurse. So I
you
definitely.
trained to be, yeah?
Yes.
Not because, or you live for economy too?
No, mine is a totally different story. I honestly would tell you that I don't believe God wanted me to be a nurse.
Okay.
But I felt that I needed some kind of education, some kind of certificate to say that I went to school, and so I studied nursing, because taking care of people, to me, I didn't even need to be paid to even do that. But while I was studying nursing, though, to my greatest disappointment, I came across a lot of people that were doing it purely for the money. When
you were doing it, it was even not as bad. Now it's worse.
Absolutely. During the time I started practicing, because basically I worked in elder homes, and so that's a lot of medication pushing and so on and so forth. But I noticed things at my work where the nurses would come in and they wouldn't even give the medications that they're supposed to give. Or they would try to give 3 medications at one time it was just horrible. I could see that there was no love of the profession. It broke my heart. So I began to question my fellow nurses. Why are they nurses? And the bottom line, both the men nurses and the women nurses, was that it was a great way to earn an income. But what I saw, humans were not treated right, to my own self. And I just happened to be opportune to work with 2 other nurses. I usually work the graveyard shift. In America, in California, graveyard shift is where you work the nights, like 11 till 7 in the morning. And the 3 of us were Christians, and we worked very hard to make sure that each patient had the right kind of care, because that was our whole reason, was serving. Yes, we did get paid, but on our mind, we knew that we were accountable to God for the care of these people, even to the extent that we would even argue some issues with our supervisors about medications that needed to be changed or needed to be stopped or needed to be added. I mean, we really started getting involved in issues that was a little touchy for the nursing institution. But just like Pastor Sunday was saying, that was back in that time when I practiced, which is several years ago. I practiced in the 90s. By the time I had my first pregnant with my daughter, I really didn't do much in the profession anymore. So I can say maybe I averagely worked maybe for 3 years or plus. But I had an incredible record, a very, very good record of my nursing practices. But I feel very, very sad when I started to hear the news about how women were being killed because, according to the reports now, that their husbands could not take the financial independence that these women had after their training. And some of the stories were of men who actually got their wives from Africa and brought them to the US just to train to be a nurse. They invested in that. And when she became a nurse and she just had this financial up to her, it became an issue. Very, very sad. We've lost a lot of nurses due to the fact of this sacrifice, in exchange for money. So yes, Pastor Sunday is absolutely right. A lot of people are driven into the nursing profession because of its income. And let me add to this too, to let you know that a lot of the nurses do 12-hour shifts that I know in California. I don't know how it works in the rest of the world. So you can imagine it's no more working 8 hours a day. Now you're doing 12-hour shifts. I don't know how it's done, but they do that. I observed as I was practicing nursing that people did a lot of overtime, And I tested it, and I realized the overtime for me wasn't worth it, because Uncle Sam takes so much of your money just because you're working hard. But they always used to tell me, yeah, you're going to get it back on your taxes. So I calculated it myself and looked at the taxes. To me, it wasn't worth working overtime. Maybe just one per check probably might be reasonable, but all the others were just working for Uncle Sam. I was surprised when I tried to explain it that people still they were not interested at what they were not getting. They'd rather stay on what they think they are getting. But I think that if you put your pen and paper and start calculating, you really see that what you think you're earning, you're not really earning at the end of the day. So yes, we do have some nurses that worked for the love of the profession, but we have many more that are basically just working for the money and treating the patients horribly. You know, I don't know how I can contribute to this. I have a couple of ideas, because we're my age, we're getting to that place too where we're going to need some help and some care. So if we don't start working on correcting this issue, you know, God forbid that it will be us finding ourselves in that kind of issue and won't be able to do anything about it. So for you that are called into nursing, wonderful, great. But for those that are just doing it for the money, I would say please take some time and reconsider what you really want to do in life, and just use it as a stepping stone till you can get to what you really like. And I would beg of the nurses, please encourage each other to treat people right and do the right thing.
But does that only pertain to nursing only? Or there are some other professions that are just like that?
Yes, there are some other professions that people basically pick. I mean, it's just like the story that you talked about, Pastor Sunday, is that people just say, okay, I want to be a lawyer because lawyers make a lot of money. I want to be an engineer because engineers make a lot of money. And, you know, it's really interesting that if you're doing it for money, let's say you're even doing it for money, it would be nice that you actually really calculate and see. Because, okay, when I first got to America, people would say, oh, I got a good job. I'm going to make $70,000 this year. And I would look at them, I would say, now, wait a minute. Do you understand that at least 40% of that 70,000 is not going to be in your pocket? I never understood how people couldn't calculate that. And that's just Uncle Sam. Let's not talk about state tax, city tax, tax when you go and buy something, tax, you know, add all that up. We are looking at about 55%, if not more, in other nations already is not your own. And the one that is left, you already know that's not going, you're not going to survive on it. So what do? You go get a credit card. Not one, I've seen people stack them up. So now there's a whole load of debt. Your income is small, and then just as Pastor Sunday described it, you are now struggling and trying to survive, you know. And, you know, it's heartbreaking because very few people can come out of that struggle.
Vicious circle.
Yeah, vicious circle. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And I'm not talking it is something that me and my husband had decided to do almost 17 years ago. We decided that we're not going this way. And we've lost friends because of it, because they don't understand it. But we carefully studied it. We listened very carefully to the urge of God, showing us new ways that we will not walk in that path and be trapped, you know. But it takes working. You really have to make some real sacrifices. You really have to not think about what people will think about you. I remember one of the places that we decided to stay, somebody was going to come greet us, and I was watching at the window as the person kept on turning around and reversing back out. I mean, the person was in disbelief that we lived where we lived. And I was like, wow, you know. But we had an understanding that, you know what, we have to live a certain way if we're not going to be trapped in this economic disaster.
It was too good?
It was too simple.
Oh.
We are always criticized as being very simple people, but what it is that what we do is we live a life where we can be free to do many things that is not our profession, but we believe that God has called us to do. We are not 100% free, but we are going to get there very soon because of all the sacrifice that we decided to do financially and in other ways too. So if it's a profession you love, fine, but if it's not, please, take some time out, read this book that Pastor Sunday is talking about. There is a genius in you. Some of you already know it, you just don't know how to take that time out to discover it. So I would just encourage you, take a little time out and just look into what God has invested in you and begin to work on those so that you can pull out of the Uncle Sam system and be free to be able to do that which God has called you to do. So I'm believing that, what Pastor Sunday has shared with us in that book will encourage us to go out and take a look at that book so we can develop ourselves to a high level and we can be free from the rat race. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, I want to say something that Mrs. Shoronke said there, because she was giving argument, very good argument, to why people should even not go for money and not just do things for money. She said, for example, some people who say, "Oh, I will make 70,000 this year," they are not even considering the economy. But she had said before that even if you are going to go for the nursing, and then you are because of the money, but you should also calculate that is, most of that money will not even come to your pocket, and that is only for Uncle Sam. Yes, but that is even secondary. What we should all be thinking about is, I am not even supposed to be considering. My number one consideration shouldn't be survival. My number one consideration shouldn't even be how much they pay, how much they don't pay. That should just be a consequence, a natural consequence. You shouldn't even think about that to make a decision. Your life, it's about your life. Let's even say, Mr. Choroke, they are paying him for that nursing or whatever profession it is, not 70,000, but 700,000 a year. That will still not be worth it if you are not going to be doing what God put in you to do. It will still not be worth it. Even if it is going to be $7 million a year, it will still not worth it. That's what I'm saying. So we are not supposed to live in an environment whereby we are forced to a corner or to the wall just because we needed to, provide, eat or provide the bill, house rent. They will be taken anyway. Just that shouldn't be the decision, the thing that we are spending a whole life on. If I'm getting $700,000 a year or $7 million a year, and I know that is not what I would rather have liked to do for the rest of my life. That is not how I would rather have pleased the Lord. And that's not what God is expecting from me. God knows that that is not what He has created me for. That is not where He wants me to bring the fruit. But I'm getting the money, and I know I'm not pleasing heaven. It's a waste. A wasted life. It's just like Mayowa now. Why is she here in Ukraine? She could be back in England and just be going to work. And be going to work for the rest of your life. You get old, then you look back and then discover that, my God, what happened to me? How could I have wasted my whole life? It's not just wasting your car or wasting your house or wasting your water or your drink or your whole life. Just because you needed to sustain yourself or you needed to get money. We should know that life is more than these things. Just like Jesus was saying, He said life is more than what to eat, what you eat, or what you drink, or what you wear. Life is more. What is life? Life is about purpose. Life is about the mission that you are sent here to accomplish. Life is about the Creator who made you and for what He created you to do. Life is about mission. Are you been living for that purpose? Are you carrying out that mission or not? That's what life is about. So it doesn't matter what money that profession gives you. It's about living your life a worthy life. And this is why this book is going to make you to look inward. the creative and innovative power of a genius. Look inward. Geniusity is actually when you're able to see what God has placed in you and you're able to release it. That is how you become a genius. Okay, get the book anyway on Amazon. It is there. And we'll be ready to come back. I'll be ready to come back in the next 40 minutes. In the next 40 minutes, I'll be back with the prostitution of tithe and offering. And the topic of today is it better to give to your spiritual parents or spiritual father than to give to your parents? Or is it better to give to your church than to give to your parents? So which one is better? We're going to be examining that today. Blessings.